Hi Shank, are you in the call? Hello.
Yes, Sagar, are you able to hear me now?
Hey, yeah, Shank, you there? Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I got some problem with my mic when I joined. Okay, guys. So, good morning, good evening. How are you
Good
guys
morning.
today?
Yeah, good sir.
Okay. So let's start the today's session. Okay. So, how many of you joined? This is the first day for the class. Anyone new participant here?
Yes, sir. This side Imran.
Okay. Yeah. Welcoming, man.
Thank you.
Okay. Rest all already joined. Yes. Okay. So today, I guess this is the last day for the open public, and after that, we will close registrations and we will start like in a closed batch. So guys, yesterday we have done a lot of topics. So anyone having any issue regarding that? Any question? No question.
Uh, Shank,
Yes.
I just wanted to ask, yesterday when you were explaining the roles, at that point of time, there were three default roles were there. What is
Mhm.
the significant use of that? In case if you are going to cover that later, probably we can, I mean, like I can wait, but in case if you want to give a brief idea about it, that would be
Okay, so related to roles, so like three default roles are there, like audit admin and security admin, like that, right? That is what you're
crypto,
talking about.
something crypto
Yes,
related.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. So those are the default roles which has the default permissions for the setting the firewall. Like for example, if you are a audit admin, you don't need to set anything on the firewall. You just need to do the audit of logs only. So you got only the permission related to logs. Okay.
Okay.
So as per the role, they will give the permissions and all those things. So those are the three default roles that you can do, and after that, you can add as per the custom roles that you want to the customer or to
Okay.
your
So
network team.
any modification we can make there on those
Yes.
default roles?
Yes,
Okay.
you can do it on the default as well, and you can create a new roles as well.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question, guys? Okay. Yeah, just a second and let me connect my iPad as. Just give me a minute. Okay, so today we will start with the other concepts and do some configuration as well on our existing firewall. Let me share my screen. Okay, guys, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So yesterday we seen the basic things related to our Palo Alto firewall, and today we're gonna do it some more of the basic stuffs that we can assign, like the IP address. So yesterday I've told about the interfaces as well. So anyone has having any issues related to the interface types? So this is the IP. Okay, it is doing the login. So now today we will talk about the zones that we need to create. What are zones? How can we create the zones? And what are the virtual routers? What is the significance of virtual router? How can we configure it and all that stuff? So tomorrow, yesterday, like as we set the IP, static IP to our firewall, and this is the management interface. So guys, let me know what are the different. So just a quick question: what are the different type of interfaces we have in the Palo Alto firewall? Anyone can answer it?
Yes, sir. And there are three type of interfaces: yeah, layer 3, layer 2, and tab, and HA.
Hello, are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
So what are the different type of
I
interfaces we
think
have?
there are three tabs, sir: layer 2, layer 3, and
Mhm.
tabs. Tab is by default interface of Palo Alto, and other is HA, active.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What else we have? Okay, so someone is writing in the virtual wire. What else? One is left.
That's HA and virtual wire. I mean, HA he covered, virtual wire was left. I think.
Okay. Yeah. So these are the 4 or 5 types of interfaces that we have.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's start. Let me connect my iPad today. Mirroring. Okay, so my mirroring software getting me a problem today. So let's use the paint. Okay. So what we have, like if this is a firewall, now we will start with our new concept of today, that is zone. So what is zone? Anyone can tell me about zone if anyone knows anything about zones?
Yes, sir. Basically, Palo Alto uses the three zone: trust, untrust, and DMG.
Hmm.
Yeah. Basically,
Hmm.
trust is those zone for the work in LAN, untrusted zone the working in the WAN for uh, public IP.
Okay, but if I see it here, like there is nothing configured like trust, untrust, anything like that.
No.
Yes. So by default, there is nothing in the zones. Let's first understand what is zone, why we use the zones. Okay. So what happen is we have a firewall which is connected like two, three. You can connect it anyways, any type. So now, for example, I have a firewall in which is connected to my different areas. Okay.
Yeah.
So one is my inside area,
One
other
is
one is my outside area, I can say. Other one is my DMZ area, DMZ, or like any area. This is not the particular name. I can create DMZ1 as well, and here also I can create one more area as well, like DMZ2 if I want. Okay, any issues up to here? So now what zone will do is it will divide your interface into a particular area. You need to set your interface to a particular area to able to work. Without sending your interface to a particular zone, it will not work. You cannot do anything on the interface. So for example, this is my Palo Alto firewall. This is my PAM, which has different type of interfaces. So I can assign my interfaces on the zones, and then we can apply our policies, our rules on the zones. Got it, guys?
yes, sir.
This is my outside. For example, this is like the area which is outside of my organization. This is I connected to the internet. For example, this is my internet. Okay, so here I have internet, and this is, so I connected my outside interface to the internet. So this is become now outside zone, and I configure my interface, for example, Ethernet 1 by 2 here, and here I configure Ethernet 1 by 1. And then in my DMZ, I can configure my interface, like for example, Ethernet 1 by 3. Why we use the DMZ? Anyone can know the concept of DMZ? This is the just basic security term. Okay, so DMZ is demilitarized zone. So it is basically a term that is used when you have some servers that you want to access from the outside. Okay, you can access it from the inside as well. You can access from the outside.
Outside.
Okay, so you can put your servers there, and then you can access it from inside or outside. Okay, now in Palo Alto, the concept is just straight away. Same zone traffic is allowed by default. Okay,
Yeah, got it.
so now if I configure one more interface, and this is I again configure in my inside area. Okay, so this interface is again in my inside zone. So I configured this interface 1 by 5. So now if any traffic comes from Ethernet E1 by 1, and it can goes directly to Ethernet 1 by 5. It is allowed by default. Or any traffic which is sourced from Ethernet 1 by 5 and destination to Ethernet 1 by 1, it can go.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next uh, statement is inter zone traffic is not allowed by default. So you cannot go from one zone to another by default. Okay. So this is a concept which is different from Cisco ASA. Like they have security levels which is configured with the zone. So like from the upper to the lower, you can go, lower to the upper, you cannot go. But here in the Palo Alto, there is nothing like that. It is just like two things, same zone or interzone, like your different zones. So if you have a traffic that you want to go from, like for example, DMZ to outside, outside to DMZ, it can not go. Okay.
Yes,
Any
sir.
question?
No.
Okay. So now
Hello,
this
sir.
is the, yes.
Why we required a zone?
So why we required zone? So we need to apply policies or rules, okay, on the firewall. So we need to apply policies. We need to apply some rules, you can say, on the firewall. So where we can apply that? We can apply that on the interface. But then again, that interface we need to define where it is it. Like it is in our corporate network, it is outside, which is connected to internet, it is connected to our DMZ or any other zone you can create. So now zone is a way to segment your firewall into a different areas where you can put your interfaces so that they can be part of a particular zone. And then once you want to apply your policies, your rules, you can apply it on the zone. Got it?
Oh.
So that is the concept. Okay. So this is one of the concept that I need to tell. The next concept that we have here is virtual router. Okay, so first of all, let me ask you a question before we dig in further. What is router? Anyone can tell what is router?
Router is a network device used to transfer the packet from one network to other network.
Okay,
Sir,
so we need.
router basically,
Mhm.
yeah, router basically used to one interface to another interface to traffic, goes to traffics. Yeah.
Okay, but on the interface, like we can use other things as well. Anyways, so yeah, it can send traffic from one network to another,
Yeah, right.
right?
Yeah.
So just a second. Okay, so now for to send traffic from one interface to another, or like to learn the addresses, we need a process. Okay, so that is called routing process. So we can say routing. Okay, so now here, if we need to configure a routing on the Palo Alto firewall, we cannot do it directly. Okay, so there is a system, there is a method which is called virtual router. So now what happens is we can create a router inside a Palo Alto firewall, which we called as a virtual router. I will show you just in a moment, okay, how we create it. So we create one virtual router which is which handles routing inside Palo Alto firewall. Okay, and those so that we can put interfaces out of it. So now if for example I create a router, virtual router inside my Palo Alto firewall, and I put my interfaces, for example, ETH. This is my Palo Alto interfaces. Okay, 1 by 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, like that inside it. So now any traffic that comes to 1 by 1, you can route it to the towards 1 by 2 or 1 by 3. It depends on like how you are getting the route. Okay. Now if I create one more virtual router inside it, like this is my below one is my second one. This is my first virtual router, that is VR01, and the next one we have is VR02. So now this is my second virtual router where I put ETH 1 by 4, ETH 1 by 5, ETH 1 by 6. So guys, now here the point here is the traffic that comes to ETH 1 by 4, we cannot send that traffic to 1 by 3. So we are dividing our routing table. So this concept is similar what you have VRF in Cisco. If anyone knows about that concept, that is you are dividing your routing table. So whatever routes you are learning in your virtual router 2, that will be sent to the other interfaces that are configured in the virtual router, and the whatever routes you are learning in the virtual router 1, those you can use to send it. So guys, any question related to this? Any doubt anyone have? Guys, feel free to ask the question if anyone have it. I'm ready to explain it one more time. That is not a problem.
So how do we, send the traffic between these two virtual router?
We cannot do it.
Okay, there is
Okay.
okay.
There is a concept of VRF leaking, but for now, you can say like we cannot do it. Okay. So we need to be think like, or for the virtual router, we need to create the virtual router. By default, Palo Alto will give all the interfaces in a virtual router. If one virtual router is already present, that is default by the name of default. Okay, let me show you. I will show you right now on the in GUI. Okay, so you guys clear with the zone concept and virtual router concept? Any question here?
No, sir.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
can you just briefly go over the zone again? I'm sorry.
Okay, so zone is a concept by which it is we can divide our Palo Alto firewall into the areas, different areas where we can put our interfaces. So now I configured, for example, 3 zones: inside zone, outside zone, and DMZ zone, for example. These are the basic zones that I create. I can create 100 of zones, so that is not a problem. I can create a lot of zones. So now if I create 3 zones, so I will put my interfaces on the zone. Like if I put internet interface 1 by 1, if I put 1 by 2 here, if I put 1 by 3 here, so my interfaces now are part of the zone. So I need to compulsory put my interface to part of a zone so that it can work. It can do the work on the Palo Alto, and then we can apply our rules and policy. Whatever our rules and policy, we can put it on the firewall on the zone itself. So we directly put firewall policy and we configured the things on the zones.
Can
Okay.
an interface remain in multiple zone?
No, it will not. Once it is configured in the inside zone, it will not go into your it will not even show you outside in the outside zone. I will show you that later today.
Now, does Palo Alto attach any significance to the name, like the way Cisco ASA automatically, if you have in particular zone, like I believe the inside is allowed, outside, or
Yes.
this
So
just
there are only 2 rules here. Same zone traffic is allowed by default. Interzone traffic is not allowed by default. That's the only 2 rules. There are no security level like of thing what we have in the
Cisco?
Cisco. Yeah.
Okay, so by default, same zone
Yes.
allowed and
Allowed.
intra zone design. Then the rest is administratively defined, right?
Yes.
And so the concept of the virtual router, what also was it just basically routing?
So when we use our routing, that time we need a router, okay, because routing process is done by the router itself. So what Palo Alto done is they create a virtual router inside the Palo Alto in which can do routing. So now if like what we have in Cisco, the VRF concept, if I have a single routing table, if I have a single customer, I have a single routing table, okay. So that is the rule. And now after that, what happen is if I need to segment break our routing table, so I can create two virtual routers and put interfaces on those. Okay.
So virtual router is basically like VRF in Cisco.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Virtual router, virtual router is equivalent to VRF in Cisco. Okay. Here it is PA.
So
And here it
basically,
is
we can do a logical separation
of
between
our
two
routing
different
table.
organization as well, right?
Yes, or towards the, you can say organization, towards your subdivisions, towards your, you can say business lines, business units. So it can be anything. It depends. Within the same organization, like there are, if you have multiple business lines, so you can configure those as well. Got it? You don't
So,
want your routes to be published to the different like different subdivisions, so that you can do it.
And how about the control plane and data plane for the?
So data plane will be different, like it will not match with each other. Okay. So your traffic which is comes over Ethernet by 4, it can only route towards 5 and 6. It cannot route towards the here on the top. And your control plane is a unified control plane, so that is not an issue. It just you just breaking your routing table. Okay.
So if you want to configure, like let's say, or any routing protocol that you configure, you need to configure.
Yes, we need to
virtual routing
configure the
protocol.
virtual router first. By default, Palo Alto give you a default virtual router. So if you don't want to configure any virtual router, you can use as a default, and you can put all your interfaces in the default. By default, it is in the default virtual router.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
So it's the same concept like Cisco, right? So you have
Yes.
the global routing table, right?
Yes.
And so if you want everything to be all
Yes.
your routing to be in the same, to have the same route table, then you don't even need a new virtual router. You just
Yes.
use the so-called default
Yes. So default is equivalent to your global routing table.
table.
So everyone clear here? Any other question? Okay. So let's move on to the GUI. So this is my Palo Alto 1 firewall, and let's first see the interfaces. So I'm just telling you the basic concept, because first of all, if your basics are clear, then we can do a lab and all those stuff. So you also got a lab workbook, and we will do lab. I will do the lab, and then you guys can do it at your home or on the servers that we will provide. So okay, so as I click on the interface, so now this is my Ethernet 1x1. I can give it a name like this is my WAN interface, for example. So any comment you can give. Then this is my layer 3 interface. I can set it. Net flow we will do later on. So if I need to do routing, I can do the routing. This is the default. Okay, default, I can select it in default, and then security zone, I need to create the zones. So before doing that, let me show you how can we give the IP. So we have three options here. One, we can give the IP through the static, and then or else we can give the IP to the like particular interface via PPP over E, that is your over Ethernet, or else we can give it via DSCP.
A
So if
quick
I
one, Shank. So basically, back to the virtual routing concept. So if you have what do we call it? If you had a virtual router define, then here you are actually going to select that interface and put in the under here, right, under the interface configuration. That's where you like assigning the VRF to an interface in Cisco.
Right.
World.
Yes.
That's just where you would do it, right? Assign that
Yes.
interface here to that virtual router.
Yes.
Same like
So
Cisco World.
we need to put it in the default itself if you don't want to create, because here you have a by default it is set in the none, so your routing will not work. So if you don't want to create any virtual routers, just take it in the default.
Just take default. So if you don't select default, the interface is not going to be enabled for routing, correct?
Yes, right.
Okay. Now, how do you create that? Is there a button here to create the what do we call it? The virtual routing right here, or you have to go to somewhere else?
Yes, so there are two options. One is the button here, new. You click on this and you will get it. Okay, so this is the option for creating a new virtual router. Or else the other option is to go to the network, Ethernet, and then in here in the virtual routers.
Okay, thank you.
So by default, it is only the default what we have it here, and we can create others as well. So I will do it, no problem. So now let's move on to the Ethernet one by one. Okay, so what I was doing here is, suppose this is my WAN interface, and then I selected layer 3, and then config. So right now I am just putting it in none. Okay, I just need to give IP address. So here I need to click on add. Again, if this IP address I need to create, I can create it, or else I can directly give the address. So for example, 192.168.1.0. Okay, and you can get the option as well, like how you can specify the IP address. Then you have IPv6 if you want to enable it. Then link state, by default you want to put it in the down state or in the up state, where how you want to put it. So you can put it from here. Then these are the different things. Now there is another one more concept, that is management profile. So management profile, what is management profile here is, if you want to, what you want your interface to use, like if you want your interface so that other people can ping it, you need to select it ping. You want your interface like other people can able to connect you through this interface, https, http, telnet, ssh. So what you want? So by default, if you not do anything, you're not able to ping that interface. Okay, so you need to select the management profile as well. So you can create a profile, mgmt underscore profile, and then you can select the options that you want. So if I can select, okay, telnet I will not select. Okay, then this is my management profile. MTU I can select on the interface from here. ARP entries I can see it, and the entries. LLDP I can, if I want LLDP I can configure it from here, and then our DNS and
So,
done.
so regard on the profile, if you don't want anyone to connect to it directly and it's just for your routing or stuff, you don't, then there's
Yes.
no need then for the profile, I guess.
Yeah. So now by attaching the interface to the management profile, you are potentially exposing the firewall administrative interface to any party that can reach this interface. Got it? So now if I'm doing it, other party can reach it. So if you want, you cannot even attach it. And then you will click on yes. So here, as you can see, I put it in the layer 3. This is my management profile. This is the green button here. Okay, so if I go it again, this is showing the link state. And here, if I go it in the advanced, I do it down. Okay, but it will not change its state unless until you do the commit. So once your commit is done, now it will show you red. So I made it down. Okay. So if I go it again, make it up, and I will do the commit. You can see the changes that you have done. So this is, see, previously it is down, and what I am doing here is I'm just modifying to the state to the up. So you, if you are like, you can be double sure like if you are doing the right thing, so you can see the changes as well. So this is how you can see it, and then you can do the commit. Okay, it is also showing you the warning. What is the warning? That you don't have any zone configuration, you don't have any virtual router configuration. So you need to do it, otherwise it will not work properly, or either it will not work. Even if you not give any zone configuration, this is useless for us. This interface will not do anything. Okay, so now the other concept. Let me take it to the layer 3. Okay, so let's start with the zone concept. So now we will create our zones. Meanwhile, let me just put 2-3 interfaces in layer 3 so that it is ready for us. Okay, so now our zone concept. So what is zones? I already explained you over here. So now we will create our zone. So to go it, we will go in the network, and then in the network we will go to the zones, click on add. So it has 3 things that you need to do. Let me type it here. What are the 3 things you need to put? One is your name of zone. I guess guys, font is clear and visible for you, or should I increase the font if you want?
Oh, so visual.
Okay. Okay, so first thing you need to put it is your name of the zone, then your type of zone. So what is it? It is L2, it is L3, layer 3, or any other type. Or third one is you need to put your interface in zone. So these are the 3 things you need to put when you are creating the zone.
So what's the type for?
Yes, so I am coming to it. So here the name of the zone is, we have, I can say it inside. And guys, be specific here, because inside versus inside, these are 2 different zones. Okay.
Case sensitive.
Yes, it is case sensitive. So make sure you put the correct name or correct case, because these are 2 different type of zones. Okay, so it is case sensitive. So again, we will go inside, then we have type. So again, depend on your interface. It will ask you. Okay, so let me show you one more thing here before we going it. Let me create one interface as layer 2, and let me create one interface as step, and let me create one interface as virtual wire. Okay, let me do the commit. So I have four interface connect in the layer 3 mode, one interface layer 2, one interface step, one interface in the virtual wire. So when I creating my zone, if I putting it inside, for example, I will select my type. So if I select what happened as a layer 3, I can able to add the interface that are connected, that are as a layer. I already selected as a layer 3. So from 1 2 3 4. If I go and select layer 2, I can only take the interface 1/5, which is my layer 2 interface. If I select my interface as a tap, I can only able to select that is 1/6. If I able to select virtual wire, I can only able to select the interface that is my virtual wire. So again, it depends on your interface. So which interface you configured as a layer 3, only those interface it will show. And again, guys, be remember and see here, we are seeing 4 interfaces, 1 by 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4. So let me select 1 by 1 to the inside zone. Okay. What happened? Okay. So I have selected my one interface Ethernet 1 by 1 in the inside zone. Let me do the commit because I need to show you something, guys. Now when I go to create my another zone, that is my outside zone, for example, now if I select my layer 3 interface, I am only able to see 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4. So that answers your question. Someone asked like, can we configure interface in 2 3 zones? So no, you cannot do that. So if you have interface configured in one zone, that will be part of one zone only. Okay, then I can create one more zone, DMZ, or any name I can. If I want, I don't want DMZ name, I don't like it, so I can do Shank as well. It is not like that, those are the only 3 names we can do. And I can select 1 by 3 it here and then here. So now these are my 3 different zones that I've created. Again, it is showing the warning that these interfaces not have virtual router configuration. So configure your virtual router as well. So definitely we will do it as well. Okay, so this is, we done it. So now if you want other things like your packet buffer protection, just a second, guys. Okay, guys. So are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can hear you. Shanti, can we start the virtual router demo again? I think we all lost it. We didn't hear you.
No problem. No problem. I will do it again. Okay. Okay. So let me just delete this one and we can do it again. No issues. So we can do commit. So you guys know about the virtual router, right? That is clear. Let me put my chat as well here. Okay. You able to guys see my screen, right?
We see your screen now.
Okay. So I deleted the virtual router that I created. So let me create it again once for you guys. So there are two options. Okay. Either you go in the network, then virtual router. This is the preferable way to go it, or else from the interface as well, you can create. Okay. But that is not a good way to do it. Like from here also, I can go to the same screen. Like from the Ethernet one by one, I can click here and I can do the new virtual router. But that is again, do not do it from here. This you can do it if you want, if you are expert. But as you are doing the basic things, so let's go from the where it has. So from the network tab, we have a virtual router tab. By default, there is one default virtual router that Palo Alto created for you guys. So if you don't want to create anything, that is okay. You can do everything in default. You can put your interfaces directly in default from here, and then you can do it. Okay, from Ethernet 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can put it. And if you want, if you
The
don't come,
default, you cannot delete, right? That's the global, right? So you cannot delete it.
let us see. Let's do the thing. So you can delete it. It can goes. Let me do the commit as well. Let's see if it throws any error.
Looks like it allows you.
Yes. So you can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can create a new virtual router and put every interface under that, and it also becomes a default somehow, right?
See, it doesn't matter like what is default or what is not. It
Mm.
only matters is what interfaces you are putting in which virtual router.
Right.
Those interfaces can only do the routing of packets between the interfaces that you assigned. That's
Okay.
the thing. So there is nothing like default. They just use the name. It is not like the default what they have.
Okay.
So for example, if I do virtual router 01, let me create this one and I will put some addresses here. My interfaces 1 by 2, 1 by 3, and all my interfaces here. I can change the administrative distances as well. So static by default, they are giving 10. So I will put it 1 as well. What happened? This, okay, minimum value they are asking for the 10. So that way also you can set it. So if I want, I can go for 20.
Okay, so now you have virtual router, and do you have static routes highlighted?
So right now I have not created anything. This is the only virtual router I am just doing it. So this is the virtual router that I've done. Let me do the commit. I can, if I want, I can create the static route as well before commit, but I'm just doing it for like one by one step to you guys.
Okay.
So any type of configuration, as long as you can do it, you can do it, no problem. Okay, so this is done. Now you can go to your virtual router, you can do the static route configuration, you can do any of the routing protocol configuration. So if I want to go for a static route, I will put my name. This is route towards ISP. My destination is 172.16.10.1, for example, with /24. I can create a new address as well if I want. What is my interface on which I am going? What is my next hop? So my next stop is my ISP IP address, for example, this one. What is the administrative distance I need to set? What is the metric I can set? So anything you can do it. Okay. So admin distance from 10 to, if I want to go with 20, I can do it. Then I need to advertise it in unicast only or multicast or both. Then BFD profile, I can also do it. So here, if I do, okay. So towards IP is an invalid subnet address. Okay, we are routing tables static towards TK. Whoa, it's like we don't have the route and also. So let me edit it. What is the invalid subnet? Take with the 192.168.1.0/24. Where is? In the fourth octet, I guess I took the IP instead of route. That's why it is showing it. And then OS, if I want, I can create one more routing protocol. Let me take RIP. If you want, you can do the enable. You can add your interface 1x2 profiles. Mode is normal. Passive means it will not send any update. Send only is it only send update. So this is what normal it will send and receive. So timers, RIP has update time, expire time, delete interval. So these you can set rules. Redistribution, if you are doing, you can do it. And what else we can do? That's it.
Okay,
So,
let's check let's check Ospf and Bgp.
okay. So in the OSPF configuration, I can do the enable.
The enables you enable OSPF, right?
Sorry.
You're enabling the process when you hit it.
Yes.
And so
So
by what I see reject default routes. So that by default, it doesn't allow default to come in.
yes, so you can select it to know, you can remove it. Okay. BFD, if you want to do anything, you can do, otherwise make it default. Then area you can select. So what is your area? It is 0. It is a normal area, stub area, and SSA. So guys, I am assuming you know about the stub and NSSA. If not, then it's okay, no problem. Then your IP address 16.101/ action is advertise. Interface you can select, like I am going toward from interface 1x2, or let me select 1x3. If you want it to be passive, what is the metric? What is your OSPF priority? What is the link type? Broadcast, point to point, point to multi-point. Then your timers, these should match with your neighbor, and all those things you can do it. Virtual link we will talk about later.
And now in OSPF, if you want OSPF to send default route like default originate, where is the section? Like default information originates, like you would do in Cisco. What section is it?
Let me see if we have that option. So area, I have done it. Export rules. Okay, so redistribute default route.
Okay.
Yes, so from here you can create external type 1, type 2. You can put your tag and metric and all those things. And then in the advanced, you can set SPF calculation, all those things. Okay.
So I guess something like default information originates, which allow OSPF, right, allow you to send default. You have to set that policy there, right? Then
Yes.
redistribute.
Yes.
I guess. Okay.
Okay, then this is BGP. You can enable the BGP. You can put your router ID. You can put your AS number 65550, for example. 35. Then BFD, then reject default routes, install route, MAD, you default local preference, all those things you can do. Auth profiles, Then equal cost multipathing if you want to do, enforce first layer. So these are the different options. Peer group you can create. You can import routes, you can export routes, you can do conditional advertising. Like if a particular policy match, then only it will advertise your route. You can do the aggregation, that is your summarization, you can redistribute.
Where did you add a subnet to advertise?
Yes, so that is also, I'm seeing it here. Dampening profiles. This is the cluster ID, configuration is okay, peer group. In the peer group itself, okay, that is not needed. Import is, but no. Mm, 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 mm. Aggregation.
Should be like maybe first page.
No, profile is not there. Default.
Advanced, we check advanced already. Right, add the subnet.
Advanced dampening profile is not there. Tuk, 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 tuk. I guess we need to create with
If we do advanced, if we do add, what does this? What
this
do
is the dampening profile. This is the dampening feature of BGP. And then I guess in the peer group template only I can set it. Like for example, in the peer, I will configure the peer, and this is the interface. This is my local. This is the IP of my local, and then this is my peer address IP that I can put. Connection option and route reflector. Yes, so I need to do is peer group. Then peer AS number is fixed 5501. Interface for my interface. And peer IP address I can give you 192.168.100. Somehow it is not allowing me, so I will.
Yeah, but there must be. I mean, the key is the VGP. The key is you have to advertise subnets, right? So there
Yes.
must be some section somewhere.
Yeah. So it
That's the
is
key.
definitely, there is some option. Aggregation we can do it, but aggregation I don't want to do. Let's see if I can give the interface
Let's go
directly.
to general tab. Maybe there's something that we need to select first, before the.
No,
can
I
add
already
network.
selected everything.
Okay.
BFD profile, no problem. No problem. I will check, and later on I will let you know.
Okay.
Okay. And what else we left in the virtual router? Everything we selected it, right? Equal cost, ECMP. If we want to do it, we can do it. Redistribution, we seen it. OSPF, we done it. Okay, this is what I am advertising in OSPF. This is the same way we can do it.
In BGP.
Yes, in multicast also we can click on the interfaces. So BGP I will just check and let you know. Import, export. There might be an option somewhere else. No problem. Okay. Anyways, so this is how we can configure the routing options by configuring the virtual router. Okay. So there are some details. Changes in repeat version 2 is not supported on unnumbered interfaces. Okay, we can change it. OSPF version 2 is not supported on unnumbered interfaces. So that is only a issue. So even if you do any mistake, you will get a result failed. So it is not like it is taking your mistake and put the configuration.
What does it mean by unnumbered interface, though?
Unnumbered. So I don't think I put it any IP on this 1x2 and 1x3.
Okay.
That's why it is showing it. Okay. So this is much of out of it. Admin login at the rate 890 show routing route. This is the command to see your routing table. Okay. So let me put it again. So now if you see, this is my connected route that it is showing. That is only showing the connected, because for others those are just unnumbered. I didn't put any IP, that's why it is not showing. But this is how you can see. This is the virtual router that we created via 01. This is our destination, next stop, all those things you can see it from here.
Now,
Okay guys.
the same command, how do you view that on the GUI?
Okay, so on the GUI you can go here, more runtime stats.
Okay.
And you can see it here.
Okay.
Yes, so same thing, destination, next stop, what is the metric, all those things you can see it from here as well. This is your fib forwarding table. This is just for monitoring. Okay. Okay guys, so any other issue, any question? So guys, let's wrap up the today's session here. So this is actually our last class for the open public, and then from next week we will be having a 2 hours class. Okay, and we can see if like what we can stretch, and we will do full end-to-end configuration as per our topology. We will create our IP addresses, we will put all the interfaces in the respective, and there are the scenarios in which the way we will do it. Okay, we also have our lab workbooks. So if you can see, this is how exactly all the configuration that we are doing. We will give you the workbook as well. First I will do it in the lab and in front of you guys, and then I will give you the workbook to do it again. And guys, those who will not do workbook, please don't waste your money, because if you not do workbook, you're not able to like you will learn everything, but after some days you will forget it. So best way to do it is to work it on it. Okay, so this is how the structure, and we will also provide you notes as well. We have a class notes already created. So this is where you get all the notes as well. Then lab workbook I have already shown you. And we also have a massive topology. So those who enrolled in the 5-in-1 class, we will do after every module, we will do this topology in which we have all the firewalls, ASA, Fortinet, Palo-Alto, and Checkpoint with 2 different sites. I have MPLS cloud that I will configure. This is the real MPLS cloud. Like it is not a single router where we've just put the IP and forwarding things. Then we have different sites with F5 as well, where we have different backend servers. So we will put the communication, like for example, the user sitting here in the US site, it just go through this, and it will go to MPLS cloud. Then from MPLS cloud, it go to F5, it will access the server. So it will complete end-to-end flow. This is like the IP addressing that we will try to put in our topology. This is for the Palo Alto firewall. Okay, guys. So any question, any issue about the batch, timings, anything else you guys need to know? Again, this is for any inquiries. You can directly email on this address or WhatsApp on this number, and you get your query resolved. So there is a backend team which will reply you as soon as possible with all the details. Okay. So any other issue, guys? Okay, so thanks for today's session, and hope you enjoy your day and your session. Okay, bye bye.